Good Morning Texas is on the road live inside the Dallas Museum of Art.
Okay, we're asking you to imagine your journey this morning as we take you all around the globe to explore art that spans more than 5,000 years of history. Paige?
Diamonds are a girl's best friend? Well, if that's the question, we have the proof. Welcome to Cartier and Islamic art, and I'll be giving you a sneak peek. GMT at the DMA starts right now.
Live from the Dallas Museum of Art in downtown Dallas, this is Good Morning Texas.
Hey, hit it. Yeah, oh, thank you so much.
Good morning, Texas. I love a studio audience.
Oh, this is making me so happy. This is amazing.
This is so cool.
This energy.
Doesn't this sound like a museum?
Yeah, this museum has energy for sure.
I am Jane McGarry.
And I'm Hannah Davis. Welcome to GMT inside the Dallas Museum of Art. This morning we are joining you live inside C3, which is a great space for children when they come to visit the museum. Also, it's where a lot of children have been spending their summer break.
Yes, I have a little thing here that I've been doing. I've been creating my own art. That's just one of the things you can do with pipe cleaners at the museum. Okay, this morning we're going to take you inside the entire Dallas Museum of Art, from the Cartier exhibit, which I know you've heard about, to European Impressionists, and a look at how they care for the art behind the scenes. You're getting an all-access pass this morning. What's your favorite part of the museum before we get started?
You asked me this. It's so tough to say. I come here all the time. I love to wander. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to say the Impressionists. It's just calming, it's beautiful, but I love discovering something new every time. What about you, Jane?
It is beautiful. I like the contemporary exhibit, the contemporary art, and I love home decor, and who would think you'd find home decor in a museum, but the Wendy Reeves exhibit has just some fabulous pieces. It's fancy home decor, okay?
I like that.
It's home
fancy
decor,
home
okay.
decor.
The Dallas Museum of Art is known for placing art in our region's diverse communities at the center of everything it does.
They truly pursue excellence in collecting and programming, presenting works of art across culture and times, and aim to be a driving force in contemporary art. Augustine Arteaga and the Eugene McDermott director and Tamara Wooten Forsyth, the Marcus Rose family deputy director, join us with more on what you can expect when you come here to visit. Thank you both for having us.
Well, thank you for coming and visiting us. We're thrilled to have you here, and we're so excited that the viewers at home can join us on this journey today. You know, we really want to have everyone visiting the museum, our collections, seeing why is that we are a place of wonder and discovery where art comes alive. And we hope that everyone will get to meet our staff, because we have a fantastic group of people that take care of every object in the collection to make it accessible. And it's hoping that we inspire people to visit.
They are so friendly. When we came in this morning,
Yes.
everybody was waiting for us, saying, welcome to the museum this morning. It's a fun place to be.
They absolutely love being here. You know, we were talking about this, Augustine. So many people are moving to North Texas. For folks that haven't been here, what would you tell them? Why is this a must visit, a must stop?
Well, you know, because we're one of the finest museums in the country, that's first. And you already mentioned, you know, we have collections from across the globe, but I think what is really important is that the museum provides opportunity to learn not only about history and the past, but about yourself and about others. And I think that that's something that museums create, this unique opportunity for people to engage with the community. And we want people to feel reflected on everything we do and the work that we present.
So, Tamara, this particular building that we're in, we were chatting just before the show, and I said, when was this built? It was built in the early 80s.
Correct.
When a lot of people moved to Texas, just like is happening right now. But the museum's history goes back, how long?
Well, we were founded nearly 120 years ago.
Wow.
And since then, we've become the 10th largest art museum in the United States. And we were founded by a small group of dedicated citizens led by a woman. And they were on the art committee of the Public Library of Dallas. And so from those humble beginnings and that tiny one-room gallery in the Dallas Public Library, we then moved to the Texas State Fairgrounds with the city-owned art collection. And then finally, we became the anchor of the Dallas Arts District here in 1984 with the building that you see around us.
It really is an anchor. And Augustine, the DMA, like we were saying, is so embedded in the Dallas history and the community, and it continues to grow. We love to see that. So tell us, how can viewers support this museum? Because it's so important.
Well, I think the first thing they have to do is come and visit, and then visit again. Museums are here to serve our communities, and I feel like if you come, you visit, you discover everything we have to offer, then you probably will feel tempted to become a member, because members are the core group that sustain our institution. They're the most passionate supporters. They're here all the time, and they learn about all the benefits that they can have from their memberships. The museum it's free. Everyone can come, and you can enjoy all these enormous collections and beautiful collections that we have. But when you're a member, you not only are sustaining the museum, but you have lots of benefits that you can really enjoy, and your family and friends.
And I can't emphasize enough how friendly it is when you come in. It's a great place. Like on a summer day, what a better place to bring your family than the museum. Okay, now that we know about the museum, how you can support it, Tamara, can you share with the audience why this particular moment at the DMA is so exciting?
Well, Augustine mentioned we are free, and so we have fantastic air conditioning.
That's enough right there, really.
But besides that, we also have an amazing array of exhibitions. You're going to get to hear about the Cartier and Islamic Art exhibition, as well as the Octavio Medellin exhibition, and then all of our diverse programs for visitors of all ages and interests. So our Arts and Letters Live literary series, and then our public outreach that we do to public schools around all of Dallas and the Metroplex, and then of course our late nights. You have to come to a late night because we have lots of music and dance performances and all kinds of things to do for visitors of all ages and all
And that's
interests.
one of the perks you get when you're a member.
Yes, exactly.
We cannot thank you guys enough for the passion that you bring to this and what the DMA really means for this community. Thank you guys so much for talking to us this morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Everybody in the audience, please come and visit.
You heard it there. Thank you, guys. Okay, good news, guys. You can upgrade your journey with a click of a button. Become a member of the Dallas Museum of Art today. You can scan the QR code on the screen for more information.
Okay, no need to leave Texas when you can learn about a variety of world cultures right here at home in the Lone Star State.
The Dallas Museum of Art, which anchors the country's largest arts districts, prides itself on being the only global art museum in North Texas. Its global collections represent a full range of world cultures.
Paige gives us a preview of the European Art Gallery and the works of some of history's most notable, as Hannah said, Impressionists.
I'm excited to introduce you to the Interim Chief Curator. This is Nicole Myers for the Dallas Museum of Art. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Welcome back.
I'm so happy to be here and happy to be in this room in particular. I'm surrounded by these masterpieces of Impressionist art. And I'm curious, tell me a little bit more about this global collection.
The DMA's collection has more than 25,000 works of art from all cultures, all time periods, and in all media. So that's more than 5,000 years of human creativity. There is literally something for everyone that comes through our doors to connect with on a personal level, from prehistoric sculpture to the artwork of artists living today.
Truly, the DMA is a treasure for our community at large, as well as being a world treasure. It is one of the 10 largest museums in the country. And I'm sure that there are so many different priorities that you're having to weigh constantly. Tell me about those chief priorities and how do you keep that on track?
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Research, innovation, and public engagement are the key to everything we do here as curators. Whether it's researching new acquisitions, developing exciting traveling exhibitions, or finding novel ways to present artwork in our permanent collection galleries, we're always working towards making art more relevant, more relatable, and more meaningful to our visitors.
Nicole, we're standing in the European Art Gallery. Can you tell me, what is it about this collection that makes it a Dallas treasure?
Yeah, the European collection spans painting and sculpture from Greek and Roman antiquity all the way up through the first half of the 20th century. We have examples of almost every major stylistic development in the history of European art, but really what our strength is 19th century French painting, and more specifically, Impressionism. So we're standing here in one of our Impressionist galleries, and we're surrounded by incredible examples by some of the founding members of the movement, artists like Monet, Renoir, Degas, Cezanne, just to name a few.
It is beautiful. But what I'm also noticing is that there's many different types of styles in these pieces of art, which I'm curious, what makes these works of art impressionist?
That is such a great observation and a really good question. There's not one shared style or subject matter that unifies the Impressionist group. Instead, it was a shared commitment to depicting the modern world around them using an equally modern style. So for some artists like Monet and Renoir, that meant adopting a bright palette and loose, rapidly applied brushstrokes to capture light and movement in the natural world. For other artists like Degas, that meant adopting modern subjects like ballet dancers rehearsing or horses at a racetrack that weren't before seen as appropriate for fine art.
Okay, Nicole, I have a very difficult question to ask you. But among all of this beautiful artwork, particularly in this Impressionist room, what is your all-time favorite?
Oh gosh, that's the question that every curator hates to be asked. It's always really difficult to choose just one and to narrow things down. But I will talk to you about one of my personal favorites in the collection, which is Monet's Water Lilies with Clouds, which came to us from the incredible private collection of Eugene and Margaret McDermott. So in the last 20 years of Monet's life, he focused almost exclusively on painting the water lily pond that he built at his home in Giverny outside of Paris. So our painting was made about halfway through his production, and I love it because it's kind of a hybrid. Monet gives us a little bit of land, so we know that we're looking out across the pond.
Right.
But he places us, the viewer, right in the middle of the water. He doesn't give us much of a place to stand on, and in fact, he really tests our perception of what we're looking at. Are we looking down through the water at the plants growing below, or are we looking out on the incredible illusions of clouds that are reflected on the surface? One of the things that I love to share about this painting is an anecdote from when it was sold in 1917. It was said that visitors to this sale actually thought that it was hung upside down. So great is Monet's ability to capture this illusion of the clouds on the surface. So I always thought it was something that was made up. But the very first time that I installed this painting in this gallery and I saw it across the gallery on a cart, for a split second, I actually thought that it was upside down. So it is an incredible testimony to Monet's absolute power as a painter, and it's a powerhouse of Impressionism. One of my favorites.
He certainly was a powerhouse as well, and it would have been beautiful upside down. Thank you so much for giving us this preview of this fantastic gallery.
Thanks so much, and I hope all of you watching from home will come and see it for yourself.
You definitely don't want to miss it.
It does look upside down. Okay, Hannah has made her way upstairs to an exhibit that has ties to the Dallas community. Hannah.
I'm standing here about to get an incredible tour of Octavio Medellin, Spirit and Form, from a man that knows this artist and this art so well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Can you tell folks your name and title here?
My name is Mark Castro, and I'm the Jorge Baldor Curator of Latin American Art here at the DMA.
Okay, so we're about to take a tour, and I am so excited. I've been doing a little bit of research. But before we do that, can you tell folks at home who Octavio Medellin is and his connection to right here in DFW?
Octavio Medellin is a noted Mexican-American sculptor. He actually worked in the Dallas area for over 40 years as a really well-known artist, but also as a teacher. He's known really for engaging with a wide variety of materials, but also for really being connected to the art scene here in Texas, in the United States, but also in Mexico. He really helped shape the Texas art scene, both as an artist, but also as a teacher.
And he was teaching here, and like you were saying, this was a homecoming of sorts, correct?
Yes, so he actually taught at the school at the museum for over 20 years, so having this first retrospective on the artist be here at the DMA is really a homecoming for him.
That is amazing. I want to take a look at a little of the art.
Yes,
Pick your brain,
please.
if you don't mind. One thing I was reading was he really allowed the form, what he used to create the art, to speak to him. He said that he believed that you had to listen to that. Talk to me about that process.
Yeah, so he was an artist who practiced direct carving. He didn't use maquettes or plans. He often just got the log or the stone block and let it speak to him. He was looking for that form inside of the material. He believed each material had its own soul, and it was the job of the artist to connect with that and add to it.
Oh, that's beautiful. One thing we were talking about, I think we both have a similar favorite piece right here. This is father and son. One thing that stuck out to me is, we think of mothers as being so maternal and nurturing, but to see a father like this and showing that physical love, This is beautiful to me.
Yeah, it's something that's quite unusual. Like you said, you don't see that many depictions of fathers and their sons having a kind of tender moment. This is thought to be a kind of self-portrait, a sculpture of Octavio with his then infant son, Sergio. He made it after a trip to Mexico where the family spent a lot of time together in really close quarters. So it's, I think, a real beautiful testament to their connection.
You know, one other thing that I noticed is that it really leans into the connection between the history of Mexico and the history of Texas, and how these are two stories that are interwoven. What do you think people can learn by coming through this exhibit?
I think you can learn about an artist who kind of crossed the border and lived kind of on both sides of it. He was not someone who was comfortable being, considered a Mexican artist or an American artist. He really considered himself a product of both countries and thought that he could kind of take the best from both places and put that into his art.
Final question for me. What's the one thing you would want people to take away from the experience of coming in here? What do you want them to know about the man and his art? And how long can people see this beautiful work?
I think what I'd want them to see is an artist who was constantly working and constantly learning, and who was sort of always persevering to try something new. That's something that really stuck with me. And you can see this show all the way through January.
Thank you so much for the private tour. This has been incredible.
Thank you.
Beautiful exhibition. As we go to break, today's summer break campers are in the middle of an art project. From art classes to play spaces, we'll fill you in on the interactive fun at the Dallas Museum of Art. Coming up, Paige.
When you think of Cartier, you may think of fine watches or exquisite jewelry, but you may not be aware of how Islamic art influenced the master himself, Louis Cartier. I'll tell you more, and that's coming up.
One of the most important things is what the museum means to the community and the connection to the people. We hold the artifacts of our heritage, of our ancestry, and what other place can I connect with ancestry that I wasn't privy to from across the world, and others can. So that's what keeps me here. I can't get that anywhere else.
Welcome back to this special edition of GMT from the Dallas Museum of Art. Get ready to experience a dazzling, one-of-a-kind, must-see exhibition.
So it features some of the gorgeous, iconic creations of Maison Cartier and explores how Islamic art and design influenced this renowned French jeweler. Paige is at Cartier and Islamic Art in Search of Modernity, presented by PNC Bank with all of the details. Paige, this is fascinating.
It absolutely is, and let me also say, this is stunning. Yes, Cartier and Islamic Art in the Search of Modernity, sponsored by PNC Bank, features immersive digital videos and over 400 objects, including some never-before-seen Cartier pieces alongside Islamic art. I'm with Sarah Schleining. She is the Margot B. Perot Senior Curator of Decorative Arts and Design. One theme that I noticed that pops up again and again throughout the show is inspiration. Why did Louis Cartier look to Islamic art, design, and architecture as an inspiration for his own work?
Well, this show really starts with Paris at the beginning of the 20th century, when it was this incredible catalyst for creativity. And what you saw was a desire for new forms, new ideas, and an influx of Islamic art that was coming into Paris at the time, which really started to codify this incredible academic study of the field of Islamic art.
I've been doing some reading on Louis Cartier, and I must say that this is somewhat of a departure. This must have been a kind of a whole new, unique style for him.
Absolutely. I mean, he was searching for the new, and what he was seeing and what he was inspired by these masterworks. And when you come to the exhibition, you can see them yourself, the works that inspired him. And he himself was a personal collector of them, which he also shared with exhibitions and with his designers.
All right, so can you tell me specifically, how do we see Islamic art really be influenced by the creations of Louis Cartier?
Well, what you see in the works, and you see both the masterworks of Islamic art and the Cartier pieces as well, and all this work in between, the sketches, the designs, what you see is motif and color and form, and you see how they move across geographies, time, and media. So you see colonnades of arches that all of a sudden become the top of bandeaus, and it's amazing.
It really is fantastic. And what I'm also impressed by is this digital kind of immersive experience. It's very, very fascinating because you get to watch exactly how this Islamic art really did influence him, and also the architecture in addition to the artwork itself, how it influenced him in the creation of so many Cartier pieces. Can you elaborate?
Well, I think the idea of the immersives, I mean, here at the DMA, we continue to try and innovate the way we present artworks, and these immersives show in big details or break down the way objects are made and their inspirations come from. And the idea is to always draw the visitor back to the original artworks and to see them in new and different ways. And we're really excited that these have resonated so much with the public.
I think people, when they come, they will have an expectation to see magnificent jewels, but you do see those. But in addition to that, they're in a different context, which I think is really fascinating.
Well, we want to spark the same creativity and innovation that sparked Louis Cartier 120 years ago.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been very exciting. All right, so I'm going to give you some additional information. Cartier and Islamic Art in the Search of Modernity, sponsored by PNC Bank, is on view through September 18th. You can purchase tickets at cartier.dma.org or call the DMA at 214-922-1200. Jane, Hannah?
Thank you, Paige. As we said, there is something at the Dallas Museum of Art for everyone, from cool exhibits to educational programming. The Dallas Museum of Art has served more than 88,000 members of our community. They offer a lot of educational resources and programs for people of all ages, from toddlers to adults.
Here to talk about this is Melissa Brito, Leah Hansen, and Stacey Lizotte, and they're here to share more about the Dallas Museum of Art's educational resources and programming. Hello, ladies. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you here. I've been hearing the laughter of children in the background. It just makes me so happy. Melissa, according to the 2020 census, more than 2.5 million people live in Dallas. That's a lot. Can you tell us more about how the museum really works with the community?
Yeah, a lot of our programming can't be done without community members. So we work with a lot of organizations here and then local artists. And just to be able to make our programs so unique and special, a really great example is our C3 exhibition, our Center for Creative Gallery, Connections Gallery, really focuses on gathering community input before we even decide on what art we choose. So, and then working collaboratively with local organizations to be able to make this exhibition something that the community is talking about and is relevant conversations. But that's just a small sliver of what we do. So we also have programming that can be, workshops, even here at the museum or out in the community, like our local libraries. And so it manifests in many ways, and it definitely takes, our whole team to be able to gather the community and be sure that they have uplifting voices in our galleries.
I love that.
I've done a lot of work with the museum, and there indeed is really an emphasis on connecting with the community, all aspects of the community. We know the museum prides itself on welcoming visitors of all ages, abilities to discover the power of art. Can you share a little bit about how you go about doing this?
Yeah, so we believe art is for everybody here at the museum. So we work really hard to make sure there's the proper accommodations for whenever anyone comes to visit, ensuring, we have wheelchairs, and then also ensuring that in our galleries, it's accessible to anybody. So, for example, in the C3 gallery, we have, for our visitors who are blind or low vision, we have Braille booklets or large print booklets for everybody to enjoy the art. We also really focus on, our museum is so big, so we don't always know who's coming through the door. So our programming really tries to highlight that being considerate before. And so, like, for example, and during our family festival, a big festival can be overstimulating, so we make sure that there's a sensory haven so that if you might need a 5-minute or 10-minute break, there's a space for you, and so that you can still enjoy the museum at your leisure. We also have open studio programming that's free for anyone to enjoy art, but in the programming we make sure that it's both in English and in Spanish, but we also utilize visual language so that there's this communication barrier that we're overcoming. And so it comes in a number of ways, but I also want to highlight some of our programming that we'll be doing this fall.
There's just so many levels of detail in that, and I love that. Leah, I've got to ask you. You've got Arturo with you.
I do.
Tell me about this gentleman.
I know. Look at this cute little guy. So Arturo is our family mascot. He came to the museum in 2001, but he is magically always 3 years old. He's based on a ceramic vessel from Peru that's 1,000 years old. And anytime you see Arturo here at the museum, it means there's something fun for kids to do.
Oh, I love that.
Real quickly, because we're running out of time, how can art help parents and caregivers nurture children with their developmental needs?
Yes, we've talked about this a lot. I think art is so important because it's another way for children to express themselves. So maybe they can't verbalize it, but through their drawings or their sculpting, you can get a peek into what is going on in their mind and kind of help them process what's going on.
And particularly even with the pandemic, it took a toll, so tweens and teens can really gain from their experience here
Absolutely.
now.
I think especially our older kids, they're looking for connection, and here at the museum, that's what we provide.
Stacy, the National Institute for Play says playing is wired in our brains. For adults, play nourishes our minds like food nourishes our bodies, really. So how can adults play and learn at the Dallas Museum of Art? It's not just for kids, right?
Yes, it's not just for children. So here in the Center for Creative Connections, children or visitors of all ages can have a hands-on art making experience, especially at our sculpture station behind us. But for adults, once a month, we have a program called Make and Take, and you can come in on a Friday night between 5:30 and 8:30 p.m. and have a great hands-on art making activity inspired by a work in our collection or a special exhibition, and we have one coming up this Friday.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Quickly, any other upcoming programs related to the current shows?
So you heard about Octavio Medin earlier, and we have a late night. I know Tamara also mentioned that fun program, so that happens on Friday, September 16th, and DMA members are free, but we invite everyone to come out and experience that night.
Thank y'all for being with us and telling us so much about what the museum has to offer. To learn more about the educational programs here at the Dallas Museum of Art, scan the QR code on your screen right now or go to dma.org/visit/calendar.
And Arturo, nice to meet you. Okay, we have so much more from the Dallas Museum of Art after the break on this special edition of Good Morning Texas. First up, find out how you can take a journey with Jane and I got to see some of our favorite works of art. We will be right back. As we go to break, here's something you may not know.
Live from the Dallas Museum of Art in downtown Dallas, this is Good Morning Texas.
Welcome back to the GMT, live at the Dallas Museum of Art. Starting today at the DMA, you get to learn more about our WFA family's favorite art pieces that you can find here. It's all part of the Imagine Your Journey campaign.
Janet Hitt is the Director of Marketing for the Dallas Museum of Art and joins us now with what you're going to find. Thank you for joining us, Janet.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, as we mentioned off the top, this is all part of the DMA's refresh campaign, Imagine Your Journey. We actually had a chance to pick out our favorite artwork to share with DMA visitors. Can you tell us more about how visitors will get to learn about our favorite pieces, how this works? I think it's so smart.
Of course. So you can come into the museum, see our free gallery spaces, find 8 pieces of artwork that have these QR codes next to them, next to some familiar faces. You're going to scan the QR code and learn why each piece was important to each of you guys.
So we picked out our favorites. My favorite, one of my favorite artists is Gauguin. I picked out, and I can't pronounce it right, Irario Viri, I think it is, under the Pandanus. Okay, so the reason I liked it was because it is brilliant. I remember when I was a kid seeing that, and wow, for a little girl from, the farmland in Illinois, that was pretty exotic. So how do visitors come? How do you want them to engage in this when they come to the museum?
Definitely. So we know the DMA can be a little intimidating. There's a lot here, so we thought, why not give you a starting point? So you guys are going to help us out. We're going to look for those 8 pieces of artwork through the free gallery spaces, ask people to scan the QR codes, and hear why it inspired you. We hope that the DMA inspires people and takes you on a journey.
And this was really fun for me because it makes you think, why do I connect with something? So the piece I actually chose, it was plateware. I love food, I love to cook, and the idea that plateware can be art, and the piece that I chose is from the 17th century in Iran, and I just sat there and I thought, you can see it right there with that beautiful tree painted on it. You think about how many people have broken bread sitting there and the detail that went into it and the lives that it's touched. And all of a sudden you start to go really deep. I just thought it was gorgeous.
So visitors also, there's Hannah, there's mine, Mike Leslie, Greg Fields, Pete Delkus, Joe Trahan, Sonia Azad. How can viewers map out or code their journey so they can see all those?
Sure.
What do you do?
Sure. So you come and visit, like you said, the free gallery spaces. We've got some amazing gallery attendants to kind of point these out. You'll find these awesome QR codes next to some familiar faces. Just scan those and you'll get to see these artworks.
I was saying, going through there and looking at all the different pieces of art and kind of figuring out what spoke to me. It was so fun. Can you tell me what your first experience at the DMA was like?
Sure. It was so exciting. It's just so much different to see artwork up close and personal. The brush strokes, the craftsmanship. It's just much better than a textbook or a screen.
And what about you? Do you have a favorite piece?
I do. So if you've been to the DMA Cafe, we have this beautiful mural called El Hombre by Rufino Tamayo. It shows this huge colossal figure. Its feet are planted in the ground and it's reaching up to the heavens. It's just very powerful and it really stays with you.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, one more time, remind viewers, how can they take this WFAA QR code journey? What do you do?
Yes, you come see the free gallery spaces, you look for the 8 pieces of artwork, scan the QR code, and learn more about why your members picked these pieces.
Thanks so much. Really, it's been a lot of fun. We're so grateful to be included in your effort, reaching out to the community. You can upgrade your journey. Here's how you do it. Become a member of the Dallas Museum of Art today. All you got to do is scan the QR code on the screen for more information. Also, keep an eye out for our favorite pieces of art the next time you visit the museum. It's a lot of fun. It's so fascinating to learn about everything inside the museum and where it all came from. Next, where art and science collide. We'll introduce you to the art doctors who help take care of these historic artifacts. GMT will be back from the Dallas Museum of Art right after this.
Come and experience the different, lifestyles of how other people lived and how they grew and all of that. So just come and take that time out to learn. It's an adventure. It's a journey. So come and take that journey with us and learn.
That is After the Flood, just one of the works you can see at the DMA. Welcome back to this special edition of GMT from the Dallas Museum of Art. The Conservation Department is the link between sciences and the collection. Conservators not only oversee the care and treatment of the historic and important works, they conduct technical studies. In a pinch, you might call the conservators the art doctors.
I love this, the art doctors. I was actually talking to one of the art doctors, and she told me she has the best job in the world. I see you back there. Hi. Well, Paige got an inside look into one of the most important functions of an art museum, the preserving and the protecting of art.
We're giving you a little peek behind the curtain to see how the Dallas Museum of Art maintains their beautiful masterpieces around the gallery. I'm excited to introduce you to Fran Boss and also Laura Hartman to tell us more. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, welcome.
This is particularly exciting for me because we are surrounded by masterpieces, but they're not behind glass, which makes me a little nervous, I'll be honest with you. But both of you have an opportunity to really get up close and see the strokes and get to know the artist. Tell me a little bit, when it comes to really having to service over 24,000 works of art, covering a time span of 5,000 years, what does go into maintaining and protecting these masterpieces?
Well, first of all, the DMA is committed to the long-term preservation of the collection and everything under its umbrella. And to show that commitment to preservation, they have a conservation department. There's two conservators. There's an objects conservator and a paintings conservator. You might be more familiar with the treatment side of our work, the art surgeon, art doctor, but we are also the art advocates. And so for all the meetings, we review things, we kind of speak for the art and make sure that all of their checkups are okay. We kind of think of it as like our client or our patient. We make sure that everything about them is okay.
It really is fascinating to see what all goes into preserving these masterpieces, even down to the installation of it. So where does this whole process take place, Laura?
So right now we are in the Ingalese Ekman Lane Paintings Conservation Center, which is actually a visible conservation center, so the public can look in at the work that we do. And we also have an objects conservation lab downstairs.
Something I also find fascinating is the time that it takes to conserve some of these objects. Can you kind of give me a time span?
It really depends on the project. So something can take a few hours or something can take a few years, depending on what it needs. Sometimes we spend years studying something before we can make a decision on a treatment.
Wow, that is a lot of focus.
Yeah.
But it's so important that you're maintaining the integrity of the piece and the artist's intention.
Exactly.
Okay, so do you ever find, Fran, opportunities to work with other museums or art exhibitions in a collaborative way?
Absolutely, and that's probably one of our favorite parts of our job. Though the DMA has lots of people with lots of different expertises, sometimes we reach out to other institutions or museums or even other organizations to help us with either scientific equipment that we don't have in-house or scientists that we can reach out for their expertise. For example, in the Conservation Gallery right now, there is an exhibition called Not Visible with the Visible Eye, and we collaborated with Emory University and the Dallas Zoo and UT Southwestern. And we have also just finished another project with UT Southwestern in the Division of Endoscopy. And we looked into two Arts of the America vessels, and I think we are going to premiere their video that they have just released on the endoscopy project.
Well, without further delay, let's roll that video.
All of the objects in the Arts of the Americas collection at the DMA, they all have stories to tell.
We at the museum have some analytical equipment, but we don't have everything. And so we've been partnering with UT Southwestern to help us with some of our technical analysis.
What we were really looking for was any kind of sign of manufacturing or what the contents of the vessel might have been. And that endoscope with its high resolution imagery allowed us to really get right up into the interior of the piece.
That collaboration is just so cool. Okay, the Conservation Studio is located on the top floor of the museum's South Concourse. There's even a windowed wall so visitors can see what the conservators are working on. Learn more at dma.org/art/conservation-DMA. All right, guys, are you looking for the perfect date or just a full-on day or an outing with friends from art to parks to food? We're gonna show you how you can spend an entire day and then some at the Dallas Museum of Art. A look at Man's Tunic, one of the 25,000 pieces that you can see at the Dallas Museum of Art. Such diversity, I love it.
As we well know, summer days are hot and long, and if you're looking for a way to spend the entire day, the Dallas Museum of Art is your spot.
So Jane, I grabbed my camera and got lost in the world of art for hours. Plus, I checked out some amazing spots right nearby.
Here's the deal. Life can be stressful and it can be expensive, but you can spend the entire day at the DMA exploring tons of works of art, and it's free. Oh, also stress-free. Let's go check it out. few temporary exhibits, you don't have to pay for anything. And you could explore over 25,000 works of art spanning 5,000 years. It can take a whole day. Within a few minutes, you're across the globe taking in art from Japan. A few steps later, you're in ancient Indonesia. And the Impressionists will take you to France. Like I said, over 25,000 works of art. You might want to bring a step counter with you because you're going to work up an appetite. Luckily, the cafe here has some really good and affordable options. But if you want to take your day outside, there's food in the neighborhood too. Let's go check it out. Like I said, if you're not ready for the day to end, just walk out the doors and right across the street is one of Dallas's other hidden gems. Here we are at Clyde Warren Park, where people can line up for delicious food trucks. Today, I think they're here for the new Portillo's truck, which everyone is excited about. But a pretty affordable dinner and a beautiful scene. And who says you can't add a splash pad to a day at the museum taking in art? And finally, for my people who just don't want the day to end, you can actually hop on the M-Line trolley right by the DMA. This is free and will take you on a tour through Uptown. Tons of great places to stop, have a drink, some food, and just take in the sights. That, my friends, is a day at the DMA.
And when you take your journey at the Dallas Museum of Art, they want to hear about it.
Yes, they do. It's all a part of the Imagine Your Journey campaign, and there's a bright new space inside the museum to help you highlight your visit pages there now, along with Chief Marketing and Communications Officer Brad Pritchett. Hi there, guys. Looks like you got a party going on.
We certainly do have a party going on. I am here with the oh-so-stylish Brad. We really do appreciate you letting us be here. We've had so much fun today, and it's so great to have the staff here. They're huge fans of yours.
I'm telling you.
From what I understand. So thank you so much for letting us take over.
Thanks
today.
for coming. We really hope you've had fun. We're all about fun. I mean, look at our DMA cheerleaders next to me. And we hope people watching have learned something new about a show, a class, a program. And at the end of the day, they've been inspired to come and have a visit of their own here.
Well, and I love the idea of the new tagline, Imagine Your Journey. So can you tell me a little bit more about that and how that new DMA tagline really kind of imparts the entire museum and gives people something to think about when they arrive?
Absolutely. So Imagine Your Journey, our new brand narrative, our new tagline, is so much more than a tagline for us. It's really our community rallying cry. We want to put the guests in the front seat of their experience here and to have, some sort of emotional reaction when they come, whether it's physically throughout the halls of our museum, emotionally, spiritually. We know that they're going to feel something deep within, right? To trigger that inner curiosity and wonder that one comes and they feel when they come to the museum. And Imagine Your Journey is having them do just that.
Exactly. And also with the new tagline, you've got kind of a whole new look. Look how styling these ladies look. You look fantastic.
Listen,
but
yes.
that really is kind of a whole new look that goes with the whole idea of
Fresh new look,
Imagine.
fresh new look. So obviously with our t-shirts, we're standing in front of our social media activation wall for Imagine Your Journey. We're all about fun here at the DMA. So we want people to stop as they travel up and down the concourse, take a picture, and tell us what keeps them coming back to the museum. If it's their first time, if they've been coming for years, if they're a member, snap their picture here and use DMA Journey.
Because the whole idea is that the journey is intended to be shared.
Absolutely.
So when you're here, you want people to share their journey with other people and inspire them to come and take a visit and imagine their own journey.
100%. And we strongly feel that art is for everyone here. And so when you put yourself in charge of your own journey here, we know that you're going to feel the same way once you come.
Okay, guess what? We're going to play a game. Okay,
Listen,
it is the yay or nay game, all right? So these are some fun facts that I'm going to ask you, and you're going to let me know if that's a yay or a nay when it comes to the DMA. I kind of made a rhyme. Didn't you see
here
that?
we go.
All right, question number one. Remember what y'all are supposed to do? Can I roller skate in the museum?
Okay. Yay to maybe using your roller skates to get here, but nay, we're probably going to ask you to take them off before you get into the museum, though. But we love roller skates as
This
a way
would be a great place to roller skate. You know, you might want to think about that
you
in
gotta
the
be
future.
safe. No roller skates inside the museum.
No roller skates. All right, second one. Can I bring food?
Nay, but you can check out our cafe. We have so many great options there, food and drink and snacks. I eat there all the time throughout the week, so food here, can't bring outside food in.
Okay, all right, that's another big no-no.
Yep.
Can I take pictures?
Yay, absolutely yay. We want people to take pictures. Take pictures. Share your journey online. Hashtag DMA Journey. Yay, yay, yay to that one.
All right, we're going to go through these next ones fast. Can I throw a party at the museum?
Yay! We love parties. Absolutely. We're all about having fun, from corporate events to weddings and anything and everything in between. Have a party here.
All right, last one. Is the Dallas Museum of Art the best museum in Dallas?
Oh, come on! Absolutely, yay!
This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And thank you, Brad, for playing along. This has been fun. All right, so it's been a pleasure. You can visit dma.org to start your journey, or call them at 214-922-1200 and follow them on all social media platforms. And remember, you can upgrade your journey with a Dallas Museum of Art membership. So you just need to scan the QR code on your screen for more. And also, we want you to take a look at this fun fact as we go to break. Let's hear it, ladies.
Okay, first of all, Brad, you would be fabulous on a quiz show. Second, congratulations on the DMA's brand refresh. Imagine your journey.
Thank you. Listen, it takes a village, and so I just want to say thanks to our leaders of the museum, the staff that was on camera today, all the work, the great partnerships we've had with Channel 8. Hopefully, it has inspired people to come and imagine their own journey.
I know it has.
Oh, I'm sure it has. And really quickly, I want to talk to one very special person. Linda.
Hi.
You guys get this. How long have you been working at the DMA?
I've been here 38 years.
Wow. Round of applause for 38 years. That is amazing. I was saying I want to check her ID because she does not look old enough to have worked here 38 years. What's your favorite thing about this place?
The family. The family. Being together and growing up here. The 38 years been here and growing up raising my children here.
Thank you to the Dallas Museum of Art for Good Morning Tech.